back, we're racing, and of course we are talking the Italian Grand Prix of Monza. Sorry it's taken a while. We've been away enjoying ourselves in sunny Cornwall, but let's get into it. It's the Italian Grand Prix, the one the Ferrari fans always look forward to, and since 2010 they've not had a home winner in the red colour on the top step in front of the Tifosi. Was we going to have the first winner in a long time? Well, Sebastian Vettel, he really messed that up when it comes to qualifying, but it was lights out down into turn one. Lewis got a great start off the line, but then that muscle of that Ferrari power really kicked in. Lewis didn't have the toe. Valtteri's got down round the outside of him. It looked like Lewis lost the position going into turn one, but he managed to hold the inside there. His teammate gave him enough room. He went round the outside into turn two and managed to hold on to the position. Charles Leclerc, though, he looked like he was just running away with it from the early stages of the Grand Prix. He had great pace in a straight line. And, of course, we saw Sebastian Vettel have a nightmare. We'll get onto him in a little while throughout the race. Charles Leclerc, he did cut a few corners, make some mistakes, didn't lose an advantage, but still maintained position. And should he have been penalised in this race, guys? That's the main talking point. Should Charles Leclerc have been penalised? Like, look, I understand it's for the Ferrari home race, it's Italy, etc. But the FIA can't do that every Grand Prix. If it's the German, the British, they can't favour Lewis, etc. And here he did get shoved out onto the grass, and he got the black and white flag, which is basically a yellow card now. But a yellow card, two of them, you normally get a red card. You get sent off. That's not going to be the same in Formula One. Lewis kept mounting the pressure, then lost out and had to go wide at turn one. And then his teammate Valtteri on the softer tyre, he got to have a go at Charles Leclerc. But it was a great battle between the two of them throughout the Grand Prix. I really enjoyed watching that. And Charles Leclerc, he deserved a victory in front of the Tifosi. He did. I mean, the Ferrari fans, I think they've been very patient throughout the season, and they did deserve one. But we've seen like changes to the rules throughout the season, and it's not really, it's not consistent, is my perspective. But Charles Leclerc was the winner, and we had the two Merc boys on the podium who outscored Ferrari overall. So constructors-wise, they should be happy. A good day's work at the office, and they move on. So it's Charles Leclerc, Valtteri Bottas in P2. He just finished ahead of Hamilton for the first time in a while. Daniel Ricciardo, P4, amazing result. Hulkenberg, amazing P5. Albon driving from pretty much the back there, P6. Perez, P7. Verstappen, a great drive recovery after the bad start. Giovinazzi's home Grand Prix, a great P9 there. And Lando Norris in the points, P10. Would have expected a little bit better. Pierre Gasly was battling throughout, unlucky to finish P11. Stroll in P12, etc. But it's all about Charles Leclerc this race. He's the darling of the Italian now. He is really suited to the Tifosi. Sebastian Vettel, he's fallen by the wayside. He's a distant memory. Remember, this guy's a four-time world champ. So Hamilton has got 284, Bottas 221, Verstappen 185, and Leclerc has just overtaken his teammate now with 182 points. Then constructors-wise, Mercedes already 505 points, Ferrari 351, Red Bull 266, and McLaren best of the rest there, doing a solid job. So you can see here the movements, the changes of position throughout the race. And we can also see here the strategy involved. So Leclerc stopped just after Hamilton, covered off that undercut, but then went on the harder tyre, managed to make it last as well. Lewis couldn't really, with the straight line speed of that Ferrari engine, no matter what he'd done through the corners, it just couldn't get close to him down them straights. And that's what Italy's all about. So it was P1 for Charles Leclerc, P13, and a day to forget for Sebastian Vettel. This man really smashed it. He's riding a crest of a wave at the moment, and he's untouchable. With that team, with them fans behind him, nothing can stop this man, Charles Leclerc. I really admire him. Great driver, great person, and he's definitely a world champion waiting. If they get a solid car under him for next year, they're going to throw all their eggs behind this guy and really push him towards the world title. Sebastian Vettel, what do we make of him? I've never dreamed of something like this before. It's above everything I've ever imagined. And it was a beautiful weekend. He could enjoy it a bit more here. With the unfortunate events of Spa, etc., really hindered in sort of like in terms of the celebrations. But this was just balls out. This is like a full celebration. And he took the checkered flag with Shauna Lacey flying the flag there at the finish. And the Ferrari boys, they were certainly very, very happy with that result. And the Italian media really loving it. So a great Grand Prix. Look at that. That's just like incredible scenes. That must give him goosebumps galore. So who was your driver of the day? Did he deserve to finish P1? Should he have been penalised? Do you agree with the black and white flag? What happens if you get two of them? Do you get black flagged? disqualified. Should that be it? 2 strikes and you're out. Here we can see some onboard footage. Sebastian Vettel lost it there into the, what's it called? The parabolic there. And yeah, he couldn't really see because of the halo, the high side of cockpits. And he did clip the Lance Stroll, we can see here. So here he goes. He lost it just on midpoint of the corner in the apex there, run it a bit wide, went round onto the grass, spinning it up there, struggling for traction, but real terrible point. He should have maybe reversed and come straight onto the track instead of trying to come on side on. Look, he's coming side on onto the racing line. Very dangerous stuff. We've seen some errors like this, like in Silverstone, for instance, which really concerning me about his racecraft, just his general, faults, etc. And then we can see Lance Stroll again. He didn't make contact, so he didn't get the full penalty, like the 10-second stop and go, like Sebastian Vettel, but he did get a drive-through penalty, I do believe. So what next for Sebastian Vettel? What about next year? What is the future beholding for him and for Ferrari? Because imagine if they lose this guy. It's been a bad week for Vettel. He knows he's made an absolute howl of a mistake. Seb has not dealt with it at all well with Leclerc's performances, because Leclerc is bossing it. Sebastian Vettel, he seems to be digging himself deeper and deeper and deeper, and that's just elevating Charles Leclerc into new heights. You saw him, Sebastian, playing the wingman in the Spa. We can see it again here. And we've got 3 flags outside Maranello. 3 flags should represent 3 wins. Of course, they are celebrating the Canadian Grand Prix, where Seb did finish P1 on the track, but did get that penalty. But what about Mercedes? What can we take from their performance going into the final part of this season? It was a great performance by the lads, but their engine, for the first time in a long time, we've got worry. So I think it wasn't our day-to-day. It was always disappointing to follow another car so closely but not be able to take the lead. But in the end, we're leaving Italy with more constructors' points in the championship, and ultimately, that is what matters. And a great point, a great team player. This guy knows the races are running out. He's in the lead of the championship. So is his team. And all he's got to do is consistently bring it home. He'll be happy to bring P2 home for the rest of the season. Of course, he wants a few more wins, but that's all he needs. What more does Lewis need for another world championship? This guy is just flying right now. And it's good to see him being challenged by the likes of the Red Bull, young Red Bull of Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. I'd like to see Albon get a bit racy as well, mixing it up there. Bottas as well, and hopefully we see a resurgent Sebastian Vettel. The next race in Singapore is going to be really telling, because Ferrari, Red Bull, they should be pretty strong round there. Mercedes, we'll see. They did struggle with their tyres the last few years. Valtteri said, whilst it's disappointing that we didn't win, our performance today was actually quite promising. We came to Monza expecting this to be one of the most difficult races for us, but we could really challenge the Ferraris, so that's good to see. So they were still nibbling on the back of the rear wing there with DRS. So I think we had good strategy and opened up some good opportunities in the end. I'm gutted. I was trying everything with all the engine modes, but there was not a way past. So a real lesson for Mercedes, for Toto here. They really need to get back to their engine, because they bought a latest spec. This is Toto's reaction when Valtteri locked up into turn 1 and really just lost the chance of the lead. The racing was very hard, maybe over the line, and Lewis was instrumental in not making it an incident. But at the end of the day, what do? You're giving a leading Ferrari Monza a 5-second penalty, out the question, because then we need a police escort to get out. So yeah, if Mercedes had have won, like in Canada, because of a steward's call, it would be turmoil. It would be riots, wouldn't it, in Italy, in Monza? And the FIA wouldn't get out alive, but they don't. The fans don't know who these scrutineers are. So it seems like the new generation get away with a lot more when they maneuver their car compared to the more experienced drivers. But it's good knowledge, and now I know. So Lewis is saying, you want to play like that? Okay, well, let's play, my friend. He's going to get his elbows out in the future and know that there's the yellow card there. You can make a professional foul, as it were. As long as you don't make contact, you can take that swipe almost, and, hopefully the other guy breaks and gets out of it, which is dangerous for our sports. We've got to be careful, because this is borderline. It could get messy. It could get really messy, and there could be some big incidents from it. So we've got to watch out. Renault, what a step Renault have made. No one saw this coming in Italy. I didn't personally. P4 and P5 for Danny Rick and Nico Hülkenberg. Great performance. We deserve that today. It matches my best ever result here in Monza. And to do it in the Renault is great. I saw the battles happening at the front, and I thought there would be a big opportunity to score points today. I'm really happy for myself and also for the team to get the team's best results. since the return to Formula One in a fourth and fifth at a power circuit really complements the Renault and their hard work. The race pace was really good. It was a nice reward for the team. The result is long overdue, and I'm satisfied now. So Danny Rick is more satisfied. He can race, get balls out, and Danny's teammate once again. Danny's teammate Nico is fighting for his race seat for next year. Remember, and no, he's not racing for Renault's race seat. He's racing for the Haas race seat. So he's very pleased after the result. It feels nice to have a finish like this. And hopefully it will bring some momentum for the remaining 7 races. The team deserve it, as it's been a tough year for us with some difficult results and moments. It's a nice reward for everyone involved for their hard work. For me, it was a straightforward race. I made a strong start, few overtakes, and managed to hold a good track position. From there, it was about maintaining that, making no mistakes, and keeping calm. I had some pressure at the end, but I managed to fend that off. It was largely quiet and controlled. A very good result with Daniel just ahead. So Cyril said today is not only the best combined result for the team since its re-entry to Formula One, but also demonstration after Montreal and Spa, the clear progress of the team, and in particular the power unit side, which has been so widely criticised at Red Bull. It is a fluid and competitive package. It is also an invitation to repeat these types of emotions when our season has been far from smooth ride so far. Our drivers have shown what they can do with a competitive car, and they've been doing a remarkable all the way through, including in tricky circumstances. So a big leap forward for the Renault team. No one saw this coming, including myself, and a real pat on the back for them, the French manufacturer. So real pumping some money into this sport now ahead of the reg changes. So moving on to Red Bull. Max Verstappen really got caught out in terms of qualifying. They obviously had a penalty anyway. Albon, though, he really lost out in that Q3 shootout and was battling throughout the Grand Prix with the likes of the Toro Rossos. Hard to make some progress there. Went side by side with Carlos Sainz into the first Parabolica and Lesmo, I think it was. And yeah, got run out wide. So my race pace is getting better, says Albon. And he's getting used to the setup changes, getting used to the car. So expect to see more and more pace coming through him throughout the Grand Prix. Max Verstappen, we're seeing some of his old traits creep back in. His inconsistency, he's like a rush of blood to the head, like Spa turn 1. We have had Monza turn 1 as well. So what happened at turn 1? Coming through to 8th isn't too bad, but again, why was it necessary? Max was unable to set a time in Q1 after he got excessive wheel spin going over a curb, resulting in a rise in engine revs, causing the Honda protection mode to kick in, the safety mode, limp home mode, whatever you want to call it, and that cost him in terms of qualification. But yeah, going into turn 1, he just, broke, the balance was upset, went off the track slightly there. So yeah, real day to forget for Max Verstappen. Albon, solid performance again. Not the best track always for the Red Bull, and it's like higher downforce characteristics and nimbleness. But yeah, a good result. Moving on to the McLaren boys. He got a point. Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz was running pretty well as well. Feel really bad for the kid, Carlos Sainz. But yeah, another DNF. Lando Norris, on the other hand, strong performance. Car's looking good. This should have been one of the weaker circuits for them. Proves to be as well. So expect to see them come quick again in the likes of Singapore, etc. So what do you make of McLaren so far? They've been best of the rest this year. And a real surprise, a pleasant surprise to me as a British fan. Always liked the McLaren team. And yeah, feel bad for Carlos Sainz after that result. We saw Lando Norris making a tribute with his lovely crash out for the Valentino Rossi, and it's beautiful. Valentino's really touched that he'd done that. Of course, Norris went to see him in the MotoGP as well, so great friendship there. Moving on to Alfa Romeo, looking fairly strong. This was their home race, remember, so looking big expectations there, and the but the Italian driver on the grid, Antonio Giovinazzi, in an Italian car at Monza. You expected a good performance, and boy, did he deliver. P9 for the number 99. Solid. Best result in F1. 2 points on the board, and a great day. Kimi Raikkonen, on the other hand, bit of a day to forget. Could have done better. Yeah, he's not been really there or thereabouts the last few races, but expect him to make a strong comeback in the coming races. Alfa Romeo, a bit hit or miss. What do you make of their season so far? I love that Antonio's crash out. That was a really beautiful one. He had the Italian colours and a hornet on the side of it. Beautiful there, a bit of old school liveries. Moving on to the Toro Rosso boys. Good performance for them. Showing some good pace. That Honda engine was pretty much at the top of the speed traps throughout the weekend. But Danny Kvyat was running really well and had an issue with his car. And then Pierre Gasly, he was unlucky to finish just outside the points, but had some good battles. So as for Kvyat, he had to retire the car at the side of the track. And currently, alongside with the Toro Rosso engineers, we're investigating the exact nature and location of an oil leak. So at least they know what it is. They've been pushing this Spec 4 engine, remember. This is the 4th iteration of this year's power unit. Great progress being made. Look how skinny size 0 that rear wing is there on that Red Bull car. Pierre Gasly looks a lot more at home, a lot more comfortable, and no pressure on him as such. He can really just get on with his day job. And doing a solid performance. Feel pretty bad for Danny Kvyat in that Grand Prix. Deserved a bit better. But reliability, once again, playing its factor. Do we expect to see Danny Kvyat in Formula 1 next year? I do expect to see him at Toro Rosso. I expect Pierre Gasly to stay at Toro Rosso. Now that they've moved Alexander Albon in, he's been pretty solid. And unless he makes a massive calamity, I don't think they're going to edge him out. The Williams team, this is supposed to be their weakest race of the calendar because they have higher drag, not as efficient aero package within the car. But they do have a Mercedes power unit in the back of the car as well, which is not the worst engine in the world. And they managed to do a pretty solid job. They managed to keep a lot of teams behind them for certain points of the race. So good performance, a good showing, good resolute driving. Kubica looked a bit tasty as well. So I'm happy about that. Do we expect to see Kubica in next year, or do we expect to see the likes of a Latifi or a De Vries come into the sport, for instance? Who would you like to see and why? Give me some comments, guys. Give me some feedback. What do you expect to see in the Williams next year? I expect Russell to be leading the team again because he has got that outright pace at the minute, and he is the kind of number one driver when it comes to that. Of course, Kubica's got a wealth of knowledge. Onto Haas. They have now ended their relationship with Rich Energy. About bloody time. All this tit for tat. They say no publicity is bad publicity, but this has been teetering on the edge. And Rich Energy, adios. Goodbye. Ciao for now. They are gone from the sport. Amicable split. Now, what's going to happen? Is the car going to change liveries? Are we going to see anything different? Anyway, moving on to their race. Pretty poor one. There was glimpses of pace throughout practice, the qualifying, etc. But when it comes to the race itself, getting a good race pace, they are really struggling. Remember, they had to run the updated new package on the car because they don't have a low downforce option. Perez, great performance for Racing Point, P7. Lance Stroll, pretty solid driving, P12, you have to say as well. And this team, since they brought their upgrades to the table, they've been pretty solid, and they do it on such a low budget. That's something remarkable about this team. Now they've got a bit of money behind them as well. I think it bodes well for the future. They're going to be very healthy in this competition. We saw the new rims, 18-inch rims, which are going to be used soon. And we can see most poles, Bottas, Hamilton, Leclerc, all on 4 so far. So good ding dong there. In the Formula 1.5 series, Ricardo won, Hulkenberg second. There we can see Captain Bottas ready for takeoff, all 4 wheels off the ground. So you won't make all the teams happy, and that's the reality. We're trying to create an environment where more teams can come into the sport, be more healthy, and stay in the sport is his main thing there. What did you make of qualifying? What did you make of that ding-dong battle at the front of the grid with Leclerc, Hamilton, and Bottas? Let me know your thoughts on that. Was it clean racing? But what a picture it was. What a sight it was. And I was really happy for the Ferrari fans, I must say, to see Charles Leclerc win. It's been a long, long time since they've had a home winner. And boy, was it beautiful. We can see the results here from the first stages and a beautiful bird's eye view of Monza from the Italian aero display. So we can see here the safety scooter of the King of Memes, Lando Norris there. And yeah, thoroughly enjoyed the Grand Prix. I really look forward to the next race, which is Singapore. Carl's going to be there, my friend, and I really hope he gives you some trackside action so he can get that uploaded for you boys and girls and get a taste, a POV of the action. But credit to Ferrari. Good job there. Here we can see Mercedes, their Formula E car, which is going to be coming for next season. So watch out for that. They're still staying in F1. Don't worry, fans. They're not going anywhere soon. But I really want to say thank you for watching. If you haven't already, give me a subscribe. Give me a like. Get involved with the comments as well. Love to hear from you. See you again soon. Bye-bye for now. Ciao, ciao.